Let's make some mayo. Mayo is a contentious condiment, but for those of us who enjoy it as a delicious addition to appropriate dishes, or at least a necessary evil, it's one you're always going to want to have on hand. But did you know that it's incredibly easy to make your own at home? It'll cost you a lot less even if you go with premium ingredients, and it'll taste way better as well. So stick around and I'll share my recipe for Mothman's Miracle Mayo. Shut up. Start by gathering your ingredients as seen here. Pause if you need to screenshot it, and set aside your eggs a bit so they reach room temperature. First, let's talk oil. There are dozens of options, but any oil that's liquid at room temperature will work. Since it makes up the bulk of the recipe, it also carries the highest potential to make or break your mayo. The oil you choose can either be a neutral vessel to carry the flavor of your ingredients, or impart a flavor all its own. Canola is a fine budget option and my usual go-to, but while it's cheap, it's also boring. Avocado oil is a fantastic choice for a rich flavor that isn't overpowering, but it can be pricey. Olive oil works, but it carries a stronger flavor that I find clashes a bit in this application. You might find it a better option for your palate though, so don't be afraid to experiment. Now let's talk about a potentially sensitive subject for a second, MSG. If you're a Gen X or millennial, you were probably raised thinking that MSG is the devil. But that thought is rooted in racism and xenophobia with no basis in scientific research and way more a product of boomer fear and false correlations than anything else. MSG is a naturally occurring organic compound found in things like tomatoes, cheese, and mushrooms, among others. Your taste buds are set up to receive and decode 5 major flavor groups: sweet, salty, sour, bitter, and savory, sometimes referred to as umami. It's this final category that MSG triggers. It just makes everything taste better, so give it a fair shake. But do your own homework if you don't want to take my word for it. This brand here is probably going to be the easiest to find stateside, usually found right alongside the salts in most major grocery stores, but there are others out there to try. One final note on ingredients. I prefer sushi vinegar as listed here for its delicate flavor, but in a pinch, regular vinegar or apple cider vinegar will do as well. Moving right along, aside from the ingredients listed prior, you're going to need an immersion or wand blender and a container large enough to hold everything, but with a base not too much larger than the head of your immersion blender. I use a large measuring cup, but if there's too much room, it can be tricky to trigger the emulsification magic you'll see here in just a sec. Combine all your ingredients into the container, then carefully trap the egg yolks under the immersion blender and blend in place without moving the wand around until you start to see the oil emulsify. Move it too soon and you'll wind up with a soupy mess and have to start over. But as you can see here, before long, you'll have a billowing cloud of mayo start to form as the oil emulsifies with the eggs. Once this reaction takes hold, you can start moving the blender around to get everything all mixed up. Another 30 seconds to a minute and there you have it, fresh mayo. This recipe makes enough to just about fill a 16-ounce jar. So slurp it out, put a lid on it, and pop it in the fridge. Now, as a disclaimer, this recipe contains raw egg, so keep it refrigerated between uses. That kind of goes without saying. Online recipes are going to tell you that it's good for no more than a week. I can report that I've had batches in the fridge for up to 3 weeks with no ill effects observed. But this is an individual judgment call, so use a sniff test after a bit and maybe err on the side of caution if things start to seem off. I've yet to have a batch last long enough to go bad, but this will obviously vary by usage, so keep an eye on it and see how things go in your own fridge. Thanks for the hang. Let me know if you try it out, and if you're brave enough to share, let me know in the comments the weirdest thing you like with mayo. Bone apple tea, friendos.